I'm Mark Hamza, and I'm the president of Sigma America, as sometimes our CEO calls me Dr. Evil. Um, and I want to thank everyone for taking the time to be here for our Sigma City launch event. We appreciate your time. I know with LA traffic and your time is valuable. So we appreciate very much for coming here. We have a lot of good things going on. So we're going to start with some of the content that we're going to show, and then other presenters will come up here and then touch and try later on upstairs. So thank you again, and welcome to Sigma Launch Event.
Wow. Welcome. Yakuso. Bienvenidos. Bienvenue. Huayin. Maligayang pagdating. Willkommen. Good day and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. You are here today as specially invited guests to experience a first in the future of Sigma lens technology. The unveiling of a new cinema lens that was born from an unmatched dedication in Aizu, Japan, designed specifically with you, the working cinematographers, in mind. Now, there's something very symbolic about unveiling them here at the Academy Museum of Motion Pictures, a place that honors a history of where cinema has been while we talk about where it's going. We're incredibly grateful to all of you for making time in your day to be a part of this. You're going to get to meet two accomplished cinematographers that were given an opportunity to shoot with these lenses. You're going to get to see and hear firsthand how these lenses performed in real-world production and under varied shooting environments. To kick this off, I'd like to thank Sigma America President, Mr. Mark Amir Hamza, and the entire Sigma team for helping realize this event here today. My name is Jorge Jimenez, and I'm incredibly honored to be your host for what I hope is an unforgettable experience for you. Now, you're not just here to witness the launch of a new lens. No, this is a tribute to the soul of lens making, to the poetry of precision, and to the artistry of visual storytelling through glass. So to begin, I'm honored to introduce a visionary leader, someone who's made it his mission to elevate the art of image making through optical excellence. He's the reason why we're here today and the reason all of this is possible. Under his leadership, Sigma continues to redefine what's possible, not just as manufacturers, but as masters of optics, dedicated to shaping the future of how we create. So it is my honor. Please give a round of applause as I introduce Sigma CEO, Mr. Kazuto Yamaki.
Thank you, Jorge. Maybe that was too much for me. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining our event today. I really appreciate it. I am Kazuya Maki, and CEO of Sigma. Today, I'm very excited to introduce you to our new cine lenses. So I hope you enjoy your time with us. But before introducing our new product to you, please allow me to explain a little about our company. The Sigma is a family-owned business founded in 1961 in Tokyo, Japan, by my father, Michihiro Yamaki. This picture was taken when the company was founded. The gentleman on the right is my father, and the lady in the center is my mother. We are very fortunate because we are a family-owned company. So as a family-owned company, we can have a relatively long-term perspective that allows us to focus on highest quality products and technical innovations rather than the short-term perspective that tends to pursue the very short-term profit. So we are very fortunate. Sigma specializes only in imaging devices such as cameras and lenses. At Sigma, there is no other businesses. This is because we love photography and film. And we manufacture all of our products, all camera and lenses in a single factory in Aizu, Japan, to ensure the highest level of craftsmanship and a very careful quality control for every single product we make. Aizu is approximately 300 kilometers north of Tokyo. This is an area blessed with great natural beauty, rich history, and traditional Japanese culture. This region is celebrated for unspoiled landscapes, including the mountains, lakes, and the rivers. This place is especially known for its clean water. The subsoil water from the nearby Mount Bandai has been selected one of the top 100 clean waters in Japan. As you know, the polishing glass elements requires a lot of clean water, right? So our Aizu factory really benefits from the Aizu's rich environment. On the other hand, the winters in Aizu can be quite harsh. It's very cold and there are lots of snowfalls. So due to its such a severe climate, the people of Aizu have always led the very, very disciplined lifestyle. Even today, in winter, they wake up 1 or 1.5 hours earlier than usual to clear away the snow of the night in front of their houses before going to work. They do it every day, so it's quite tough to live in such a place. Actually, it's very, very beautiful though. I really like the winter scenery covered with snow. I live in Tokyo because we have headquarters in Tokyo, but I go to Aizu factory probably twice a month regularly. And in winter, I always wish there is a snowfalls. And if I see it, I'm very happy because it's so beautiful. And I sometimes talk to the factory staff. Today it's a very good weather because there are lots of snow. But obviously, our factory staff do not feel comfortable with my such attitude because they are so tired of the lots of snow. Sometimes they explicitly tell me that Kazuto-san, please do not tell it to us because we are so tired of heavy snow. We don't need any more snow. And they say you look like the easygoing man. Actually, no, I'm serious. I know the real easygoing man over there, the Mark, the president of America. He's a real easygoing man. He always drink a nice champagne or wine, and he always say, "Life is good, life is beautiful, weather is good. No worry about business, no worry life." I envy him, but I'm very serious man. But my point is that such a Aizu people's very focused and committed attitude toward life greatly contribute to our high precision parts processing and high quality manufacturing. Aizu is also well known as the city of samurai. In the past, Aizu was one of the largest cities in Japan, in Tohoku region in Japan. It was the place where the center of economy and the culture. So because of that, the spirit of samurai had long lived on, and also the place where the higher education of the Bushido, the spirit of samurai, was introduced early on. The first lord of the Aizu domain, Masayuki Hoshina, established the 15 mottos of the Aizu domain. He established it in 1668. And the first article of the motto was quite special and extreme, even for me, even for Japanese. The first article said that all the people in Aizu must be loyal and faithful to the Tokugawa shogun family, and everybody must swear absolute loyalty to the shogun and his descendant forever. It's really extreme. I was born in Tokyo and I grew up in Tokyo, but when I knew about this motto, I was quite surprised. But more surprisingly, people in Aizu took it very seriously and kept this motto over 200 years until the shogunate era ended. So after the very peaceful 260 years of the shogunate era, there was a civil war between the shogunate forces and new government forces. And people in Aizu resisted Aizu new government forces because of their absolute loyalty to the shogun. Actually, they knew there was very little chance for them to win, but they had no choice but to resist to the new government forces. And they did it, and they did it to the very end, which led to some of the most well-known tragedies in Japanese history. And after this civil war, many people, actually during the war, many people died, and the survived samurai was forced to move farther north of Japan, and they lost the position at the center of the Tohoku region, and Aizu became one of the small cities in that region. But I see such a spirit of samurai still today. I was born in Tokyo, but when I started going to Aizu, I realized there's some difference between the mentality of the people in Tokyo and the people in Aizu. So I strongly believe such Aizu people's loyalty, sincerity, and dedication based on the samurai spirit greatly contribute to our high manufacturing capability. We started manufacturing all of our products, camera lenses, in Aizu in 1973, and still do it today. Over the 50 years, we have been accumulating our manufacturing capability including the numerous technical innovations. This accumulation of the technology enabled our Aizu factory to remain as a world premier lens producer. Every single product, all the products manufactured at our Aizu factory achieve the first class quality with very minimal variation, with the very highest reliability. So now I'd like to share with you the movie of the latest movie from Aizu factory. So please enjoy the movie. Could you play the movie? Thank you very much for your kind attention. Now, I'd like to introduce you to our brand new cine lens. It's called Aizu Prime. As you can see, it's a set of new lenses, proudly bearing the name of the amazing place where our factory is located. Aizu Prime is the world's first T1.3 prime line designed for large format cinema cameras. The T1.3 aperture not only make them highly capable in low light, but also very strong focus roll-off and silky autofocus rendering deliver the unprecedentedly beautiful imagery. The image cycle of 46.3mm covers not only full frame format, but also covers some larger formats such as ARRI, Alexa, LF, Open Gate, and VistaVision. Okay. It's a set of 12 lenses, including 18mm, 21mm, 25mm, 27mm, 32mm, 35mm, 40mm, 50mm, 65mm, 75mm, 100mm, and 125mm. All of these lenses achieve T1.3. We start shipping 8 lenses out of the line this year from 25 to 65mm, and the rest will follow up in the future. All the lenses in Aizu Prime line newly designed exclusively for cinema use, including the totally new optical design. Each lens deliver the modern clean look with amazing resolution, but also by controlling several aberration, it delivers a unique natural look with the beautiful bokeh thanks to the T1.3 aperture. Thanks to our state-of-the-art technology, we were able to deliver the very super clean, the natural look with minimal chromatic aberration. And in addition, each lens in Aizu Prime line has been designed to deliver the highly consistent look with a uniform color reproduction and rendering. So again, combined with our high manufacturing capability at our Aizu factory, it ensures the very fast and streamlined post-production workflow. Each lens in Aizu Prime line has been designed for close-up shooting, so each lens they can be used in a wide variety of situations. We have at Sigma we have a special team who checks, reviews, and reduces the flare and the ghosting when the lens is being designed. They are only specialized for flare and the ghosting, special team, and we call them the Ghostbusters. It's true. It's not joking. In the company, we always call them the Ghostbusters. And I can tell you that they are heavily involved in this Aizu Prime project. Thanks to their dedicated work, we could eliminate the very excessive flare and the ghosting in the image. But at the same time, we could keep a small amount of the natural flare to maintain the aesthetic character of the lenses. Despite their very fast T1.3 aperture and amazing image quality, each lens has been designed to be compact and lightweight, all thanks to our state-of-the-art technology. Without our technology, I don't believe we could make these lenses such compact, lightweight design. Each lens weighs about 100, not 100, 1.6 to 1.7 kilogram. And as well as the compact and lightweight design, each lens are designed to achieve the highest level of the build quality to meet the expectation of the cinematographers. So since all products, again, all products are manufactured at Aizu factory, we can guarantee the highest level of the reliability of each product. I can guarantee to you. The focus ring has a 270-degree rotation for precise focusing, and each lens are compatible with Zeiss extended data system, which is useful for smooth post-production. So we start shipping the 8 lenses out of the Aizu Prime line in August. The price of the Aizu Prime is $8,299 each. So I hope this brand new Aizu Prime line enables the brand new visual expression and create wonderful films. Thanks to your help. This is just my brief introduction of the brand new Aizu Prime line. But for more detailed impressions, I'd like to leave you to the cinematographers who have been using these lenses after my presentation. Before I finish my presentation, I have a small update about our AF Cine lens, which we had made a development announcement in September 2024. At the IBC 2024, we announced that we were developing the 28 to 45mm T2.0 AF Cine full frame. The response was enormously positive, but we also received some important feedback from the customers. So after we came back to Japan, we decided to change some part of the lens. So this lens is still under the development, but I believe we can launch this lens later this year. And in addition to this lens, I have another piece of good news for those who have been waiting for the AF Cine lens from Sigma. In addition to this lens, we started the development of the 28 to 105mm T3.0 AF Cine full frame. As you can see, this lens has a wider zoom range. So combined with the AF performance, this lens can be quite a versatile lens, I believe. And because of the thanks to our latest technology latest AF technology, this lens achieves quite high level of the autofocus performance. So I believe this lens can be used a wider variety of applications from single person operation to the full scale film shooting. So this is I don't have the any further information such as a launch date or price information, but we do have the working sample here. So after our presentations, you can try them at our touch and try corner. So please try them and tell us about your impression about these lenses. So this is my brief introduction to our brand new Aizu Prime line and also the update about our AF Cine lenses. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Another round of applause for our Sigma CEO, Mr. Kazuto Yamaki. Thank you so much. And now we're going to watch a film from a cinematographer whose body of work is known to be visually poetic. You can see it in works such as documentaries, music videos, and major productions such as Crazy Tiger, Top Boy, Say Nothing, and the Khan selected Inshallah, a Boy. A member of the French Society of Cinematographers, his use of natural light is known to drive emotional and impactful landscapes with elegance. So we're going to get to see a film made by Kaname Onoyama, AFC. Please enjoy.
How are you feeling? Give me that. Hello.
I'm not good with this, but I don't want you to go. Like, that's it.
Are you kidding me? I literally, like, before I get into. What do you mean?
I love you and I care about you. And because I'm not gonna let
Wow. At this time, I'd like to invite Kaname Onayama, AFC. Come on up, Kaname. Yeah, you can have a seat. Actually, I'll take a seat here. Wow. So Kaname, please introduce yourself. What can you tell us about this emotionally heartwarming film that we just talked about, or we just saw? Let's start with the title. What do you wish our audience to know about this specific film?
So thank you very much for coming today and watching this film. So today, I feel super privileged to be part of this event and to be part of this lens testing project, and I could make something all together. So yeah, first I want to thank Sigma and all the people who supported me. So yes, when I was introduced to Sigma through I'm based in Paris actually. My name is Kaname Onoyama. I'm cinematographer. I work quite often with a rental company called LVZ Paris with Samuel and Fred who are there today here. So they introduced me to Sigma and talked about the new lenses. So the rough idea of the new lens going to be, as Kazuto-san just explained perfectly, T1.3 compact full frame high quality cine lenses. Immediately I thought, this lens going to be incredible, like in terms of performance, and then so it's going to be very useful tool for a cinematographer for sure. But also I was immediately curious about how this lens gonna help me to capture emotions for whatever the project is, because I work on narrative projects such as like a TV shows or feature films, but also music videos, commercials, a lot of commercials or documentaries. So every time, so I meet a bunch of different artists, different directors, and then all the project always starts from how which camera and lens we use. There's no one good lens or good camera to do all the project. Every time, like depending on the intention behind, we have to choose one right tool and then we go for it. So every time with directors, we talk about for example, the choice between film or digital or spherical anamorphic lens, or modern or soft, or there are so many characteristic of lenses. So everything is sort of good, and then it all depends on what we talk about. So sometimes we can do the proper camera test, like putting the many cameras and putting different lens on it and then shooting the same thing and compare. That's one traditional good way to compare lenses and to find out where we are. But also, it's often the case I don't have time to do it because everything is in rush and I'm always shooting something, and so I have to find out what is the best tool besides all the crazy daily schedule. And then so I was quickly thought of like how I wanted to have the response about is this lens good to capture and capture emotions. So it's quite I think the idea is very subjective and ambiguous. It's not very technical like the lens itself, but the emotion is something very subjective on each project. Some people say this lens is great, other people say this lens is really bad, and vice versa. So when I was introduced to do this project, I wanted to find a concept to achieve all kind of emotions. So first, I try to collect very different kind of materials from music videos or movies or whatever, and then I made a reel of 2 minutes, and then which started to look quite interesting to watch, and then I presented to people, and then I was still thinking about it, and then I realized there is a behind each very emotional scenes. So a lot of people who are in relationship or in trouble or whatever, people are laughing and crying. So there are a bunch of different emotions on this reel, and then I realized there's sort of consistent theme behind. They're always human and that they're in love somehow. So I pitched this idea of doing the film about love, and then I thought the success for the key to the success of this kind of project is getting the diversity of characters and also locations. So as a nature of like a cinematographer, I've been always traveling everywhere. So I wanted to start this project from LA, where I was shooting commercial, and then I came back to Paris to keep on doing different things, and then I went back to Japan, recommended by Kazuto-san as well, like where we are from. So I went to Japan just for the shooting, and then I just met so many different people, and I made this footage.
Thank you for sharing that, and it came across very well in the film that we saw. As we look at these lenses and we talk about the characteristics and what comes out, and I found it interesting that you chose to make a film about the qualities of emotion, because these lenses capture that very well, the close-ups, the intimacy of that, and you were able to depict that. And I did see different scenes, and so to be able to showcase different landscapes, you did that very well. And we'll talk more about this in the Q&A. I have some questions, and wanted to hear your thoughts behind creating that. So thank you so much for sharing that with our audience. And it was an emotionally touching piece, because there's happiness, there's anger, there's innocence, and it's life, and it's all love, and you captured it very well, Konami. So thank you so much for sharing that with us today. Thank you. We'll get to see some BTS. Okay. Next, I'd like to introduce a cinematographer whose body of work can be seen in major productions such as The Tick, Sneaky Pete, Hunters, Millers in Marriage, and Long Bright River. A member of the ASC, his visual language is immersive and confident. His dynamic camera work and blends style and substance to impact the narrative. I'm happy to introduce William Rexer, ASC.
Thank you.
Thank you, William.
So, what we're about to see is 3 scenes from Ed Burns' latest movie, and he revisits Brothers McMullen that he did 30 years ago. And so this is the same cast with The Next Generation included. And it's he allowed us to use this. We're still cutting the film. So this is 3 rough scenes, unmixed, uncolor corrected. But you get to really see how the lenses can work in a romantic comedy. So we were not wide open. We were usually a 2-8-4 split, because we wanted to have that depth of field for a romantic comedy. And we used Alexa 265, the Kip-on 1.3 adapter that expanded it to cover the 265. You get to see a lot of the different characteristics on this. So watch the footage and then we can talk about it.
Looking forward to it.
Thomas, Tonelli, McKenna McMullen.
Mm-hmm.
I never even wanted a boyfriend before, let alone a husband, but I've never felt this way about anyone in my life. So, yeah, fuck it. Do you want to marry me?
Absolutely. Maybe try the pinky?
Yeah.
Oh, look like an old school mafioso. I feel like friggin' Henry Hill. Karen, why did you do that? Karen, that was all the money that we had. Why did you do that?
Henry, they were gonna find it anyway, Henry.
Karen!
I'm sorry, I'm sorry.
You're funny.
Funny how? Funny like a clown?
Are you kidding me? Is that a good-looking freaking bird or what?
Nice. What are our thoughts on Patty's boyfriend? I didn't know he was coming.
Yeah, neither did I, and for the record, I am not at all happy about it. Here's what I don't get. What is my daughter doing with this freaking guy?
Why would you say something like that? He seems like a very nice young man.
Yeah, because there's something about him I don't trust, and I can see it in his eyes.
In his eyes?
He's too preppy. You know, he's too put together. I don't like that.
Put together is a problem.
Yeah, and you know, he's not particularly handsome, is he? You know, it just occurred to me, who does he remind you of? This guy right here.
Ha, very funny. So he's a nice, sweet, put-together kid. Probably goes to church every Sunday, too.
Another strike against him.
I can see why you two heathens don't like it.
Speaking of not going to church, where's Leslie? She and the kids coming? What's going on?
Oh, well, yes, the boys are with their significant others, and Leslie and I, well, she decided that she was going to be in Fairfield. You know, she always loved Fairfield. Always enjoyed Fairfield. Tommy! Tommy! Hey, you got to try one of our new brews, huh?
All right, you got it. Hey, Dad, did you know Patty's bringing the wannabe wasp to dinner today?
Yeah. We're just discussing
You're not happy about him.
You people are impossible. Can we just give this kid a chance, okay? After all, it's Thanksgiving. Speak of the devil.
Santa baby, just slip a sable under the tree for me. Been an
Seriously, dude, you're gonna make me cry. I'm like this close to losing. Cry? Why are you gonna cry?
That was beautiful.
I know, but guys aren't supposed to be cute and funny and charming like you, and they're definitely not supposed to be able to dance like that.
Santa baby, a 50.
What about you? I've never met anyone who's so sweet, tough, and gorgeous, and nasty, and makes me want to spend every second with her.
Wait, what the fuck? I thought we talked about this. No mushy relationship shit.
I'm sorry. I can't help myself. You got me saying all the things I thought I'd never want to say.
I know, it's terrible. Wait, what kind of things?
Don't make me say it. Because I'm so in love with you, I won't say it.
Did you actually just tell me that you were in love?
You want me to repeat it?
No.
Just as
But I would like to take this time to tell you that I love you too.
So this is some behind the scenes of how we did all that. The footage you saw earlier, the DCP was a little bit washed out. The blacks are definitely much richer in the real material. There we have 2 generations of mole stocks. This is the 65. So what you saw was a combination of the 65 and the 75 millimeter lenses for all that dance work. It's not a secret there because I have the tag on, but we're using a black glimmer glass as well.
and a little insider knowledge is you'll see a green tag on that lens, and that was William's way of protecting the lenses before the announcements were made.
They asked me to make sure that we covered the name until the announcement. So.
Sorry, Johnny. I'm pulling back now.
I meant this behind the scenes to be a little bit shorter. Sorry, it's gonna run for a little while.
So as you got to shooting these scenes, is there anything specifically that you were looking for out of these lenses? Was there anything you were worried about as you captured the movement and the dynamic movement of this?
Well, I'm a fan of the previous lenses, both the Sigma Cine and the classics. And an environment like this for the classics would have been impossible, obviously, with all the flaring.
Yeah.
And when I started to look at these lenses, I was trying to both look at contrast, and the contrast in this 65 compared to the other 65, there is something magical about it.
Yeah.
Just. And there's another thing that I want to ask the designers about is that just feels like there's more three-dimensionality, and I don't know optically what that is.
Right.
But I noticed it in our camera test. I had another fellow cinematographer, Tim Norman, come in when I was doing these tests originally, and we kept putting up different 65 millimeter lens and do one after another, comparing them, and we kept saying, "What is this? This just feels." And the only thing we could say is more three-dimensional.
Yeah, and we talked about that last night. That's something that even us there at Sigma Burbank, as we were starting to look at these lenses, we were trying to pinpoint what that look was. It was just something that was jumping out at us. And then when you said three-dimensional last night, it clicked. And there was another one of our guests last night that mentioned it was like an impressionism almost, that you get the subject soft, the sharpness of the eyelashes, but everything falls off beautifully.
Yeah, and again, we were never, because we had the kip-on adapter, we were usually at a 2/8-4 split, so we were never really playing that, we very rarely went wide open. Here we were at a T4.
A T4.
This environment, we were at the promenade, and we had originally rigged lights over the edge, over the BQE, and the police came in and made us take all the lights down. And so we had to come up with a plan B very quickly. We had about 45 minutes to get this scene. And so it did morph a little bit.
Were you worried though when you did that it was going to change the overall look, the vision of what the director wanted to see?
Originally in this location, I wanted the foreground to be much darker and just them sort of three-quarter backlit, and that sort of had to go out the window at the time.
Okay. Thank you. Anything else you'd like to share with our?
I would just love to get into the question and answer, because I think that'll give us a lot to talk about.
Well, you're kicking it off to that, William. So let me grab my notes, and this is going to lead us to the Q&A portion of that. So we just watched two film reels depicting how the lenses respond in different environments, shooting environments for different genres. And so thank you to our guest speakers and to our CEO for sharing the presentation, the history. And so at this time, we're going to transition. I'm going to go ahead and invite our CEO and our special guests up onto the stage, where we'll have a conversation Q&A, and we'll open it up to questions from you in the audience. So before we jump onto the broader questions, I want to acknowledge the powerful presentations and the reels we just saw. Kazuto-san, thank you for painting a visual on the history of Aizu. You drew parallels, sharing your belief that the Aizu people's loyalty, dedication, and sincerity greatly contribute to manufacturing excellence. It was an added plus to learn that we actually have Ghostbusters on the team. That was is wonderful. And as we looked at these new lenses, they asked how was flare, and it's not existent. It's because we have a Ghostbusters team. So now you know. If you didn't know, now you know. So we've had high-speed primes, a couple of cine zooms, and the classics out for quite some time. So I asked, what was the inspiration and the driving philosophy behind developing this new line of Aizu cine lenses?
As you know, our existing high-speed primes are the rehoused the cinema lenses. The optical construction are from the steel lenses, and we entered the cine market in 2017, and right after that, we realized that many high-end feature film project or some very high-end project use our lenses. So, it stimulated our motivation, and we want to make the cinema lens from the scratch just for cinema use. So that's the inspiration.
Okay, thank you. And then I'll follow it up with what specific needs and creative goals did you want these lenses to address for filmmakers around the world?
Yep. As I said, this is the world first T1.3 prime lens. So using this specification spec, I like all the cinematographers to create a new visual expression using this lens. Of course, I respect all the lenses in the market today from other companies, and each lens has their laws. And for Sigma, we believe it's our mission that the utilizing the state-of-the-art technology and implement the very high-quality lens in a small, compact, lightweight format. So I would be very happy if this lens contributes to create wonderful films in the future.
Thank you for sharing that. And then I asked that because I listened in on an Instagram Live recently where they were talking to a cinematographer who is in the audience today, by the way. And she was talking about how this Cinegear was going to be the first Cinegear where she actually had some time to walk the show. She's usually working, been very busy, and for some reason, this Cinegear was going to be one where she got an opportunity to walk. And so she mentioned that this Cinegear, she wanted to focus on lenses, what lenses were available out there. There are many camera systems that are out there right now. So when she said that, it was interesting to hear because, like you mentioned, there are so many options. So with that in mind, and then I'll ask you as the cinematographers up here, there's so many options out there. I think we've had some conversations. When you use these lenses and you go into shooting situations, how do you feel these lenses, impact or make their way into the industry? How would you go about selecting? Do you feel that these lenses are some that, really stand out in terms of the many others that you've gotten to experience and shoot with?
You can be very honest.
When I took these lenses, I brought them over to Area in New York, and we probably put up 15 sets of lenses, and we had 5 different camera bodies. We weren't sure what we were going to use. The 265 wasn't available yet, and so we had the old 65, and we had anamorphics, and we had the alpha anamorphics. We had such a selection of lenses, and we put a person 8 feet away. We had Christmas lights in the background. We had a backlight. We did a soft key light. We did all the sort of stuff that one does. And then we took it to the windows and looked at flaring. And then we eliminated a whole pile of them and came down to like 4 sets of lenses that were left to really say, okay, what do we like? What do we not like? And I always try my best to do this now, the next round of tests, as sort of like an A through F with letters on the slates and then we really do something a little bit more robust. We watch how they pull focus, the mechanics of them. We watch what they look like on a face. We look at if it's just silhouette, what does that look like? If it really going to minimum focus, going to setting yourself also not only at the minimums, but also setting yourself at a 284 and looking at what that looks like, comparing them. And then we went to Harbor, New York, and project them and have the director sit there and only looking at A through F, not at, is this a Cook? Is this a Zeiss? Is this a Sigma? And all of these lenses, as you're saying, are beautiful. They all have their place, but it is an emotional response to the lens that people are looking at. And in this case, the Aizu lens is won out, consistently. And the director's like, that, I want to use that lens. And emotionally, it's sort of, our job as cinematographers is to climb inside the director's head, figure out what the heck they want to, what is the tone of the project they're doing, what do they want to say, and then to realize it. It's not to jam what we want down their throat. Sometimes it is, we twist their arms, but our job is to figure out what their inner thoughts and feelings are, and then convey that on the screen. And so I did this with the earlier Sigmas as well. I would present them in those ways and not in a forceful way, and let people respond to them emotionally. And we had that experience with the Cine lenses on film this year in Budapest. That they beat out all the other lenses. In part, it was because we were doing a movie that had candles and just the bokeh of that. Had these lenses existed, I imagine that they would have won. But
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Kaname, your thoughts on that?
So it was in March when I got this lens testing project, and I was in Paris and with Samuel at LVZ, who is here. We were developing what we can do and how they can help me to give me the camera and the other things. And then I was developing the project in my head, but the lens was not ready yet. And then I've been traveling all over, and then it was by coincidence that the lens became ready to use when I got the job in LA. So I was in town, and I couldn't do any test or anything before starting the job. So it was a really short amount of time I was staying here, and then I really wanted to capture people in Los Angeles to start. So everything was very much in rush, and just I put the lens on my little Sony FX3 I travel always with. I organized the sessions with actors and friends and any kind of people in a bunch of different places, and just I started to shoot without having any any thought in advance. And just every day, everything looked quite good, but on my little screen, and I've been busy on shooting things, and this is really nice. And also the fact that the lens was really, really compact, it helped me to be sort of like a single shooter to go everywhere. I was a bit afraid of not to have a proper permit and everything like a movie set, so I took it like almost like a documentary project, and just to bring in my gears and shooting people. So everything went very well. And then after that, I brought the lens back to Paris, and then brought it directly to Samuel and Fred waiting for me in LVZ. And then we put that lens on the collimator, so in the dark room. So I remember the Fred opticians, who I really, really trust from the first day of my career. So I remember his reaction of just when we projected the image through the lenses in the dark room, he was like, "Oh, this looks really good." And then he started to see all the corners. "Oh, there's no vignette. Oh, the contrast is really good. Look at this. You can see that. And oh, this is really red. Oh, really?" I do that every time, but I never understand in depth of the technical precision. But the first thing I thought was I felt like his reaction was confirming of the feeling of my experience of the first piece of the shooting. And then I still didn't have so much time to do a complete test, like a feature film. But just I started to shoot in Paris next time with a Venice 2, it's a different camera with the 8K, now the huge definitions. And then, but still, I was never really bothered by we are always afraid of like when the definition is really high and the film, the lens is modern and sharp, we are afraid it becomes a bit unnatural or awkward or something. But I found the texture really natural. The skin was smooth and soft and looking great. And flare, as you saw in my video, that when even if like I'm against the sun, like the flare was the right just amount, and it just embraced the emotion. That's what I sort of felt. So at the end of the project, I was just fell in love with the lens.
And the focal lengths that you chose, the having a 32, thank you very much. The 27, the 75, those additions are just fantastic.
Thank you. I'd like to. I have a few questions, and we're running short on time, so I want to open it up to any of you. If anyone out in the audience has questions, I see a hand up there. So at this time, I'd like to open it up so we can get a microphone over.
Hello. Question for Will. What was your decision-making process to use the expander and not just use the lens's native LF?
So there was a slight vignette on the 265 with that, and I wanted to go with 90% coverage on it and then have the full flexibility. And that's what the director and I and the producers all had agreed on. And then Warner Brothers had a different idea. So that's why we went with it.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I see a hand up here. Okay. Oh, easy enough.
One for Kazuto. There was definitely a lot of conversation about the lack of chromatic aberrations, but could there be some notes on the distortion profile, the breathing, the iris design, things like that, and the close focus?
Yep. You mean you ask how about the aberration control of those things?
I'm talking. Can we learn about the things that weren't mentioned, like how is the distortion, the image breathing, the bokeh, the iris design?
I can say the image breathing is non-existent.
No.
I can say that the 13-leaf iris, because I was traveling in and out of rooms and in and out of interiors to exteriors, and I was pulling iris quite a bit, is the smoothest iris that I've seen. The aberrations, I really saw minimal aberrations, and I was even using a Kip-on adapter, which added some of those aberrations. So, thank you.
Any other questions? I see a hand on the right side here.
Thank you.
Hi, John.
Hi, Mr. Yamaki. I understand that there's E-mount as well as PL on these lenses. Can you tell us about the thought process behind that?
These days, we see it's not major, but the demand for the E-mount cine lens is increasing. It's not majority yet, but we feel there's a slight increase of the E-mount cine lens demand. So we decided to make the E-mount.
Sorry. Okay, hello. My question would be, the building on the cine on the full frame primes before. What was the thought process? Okay, this one opens up to 1.3. Well, when you are at 2.8 or force play, how do you compare that to the other lines, more specifically to the prime, to the full frame primes?
I'm sorry. So.
Sure. So basically, how would you compare these new ones to the full frame primes, the cine lenses?
Okay.
The cine line. when you close down to a force plate 5? Because obviously there is a big difference.
You mean
at 1.3.
optical quality?
But yeah, exactly.
Yeah. The modern lens typically perform very well from the wide open. But of course, you step down the aperture, you have even better picture quality. But maybe better to give it to.
Yeah, and I'll follow up on that. I think we talked about this recently. I asked you, Will, how, because you own several sets of high-speed primes, you own a full set of classics, and I asked if, there was a way to intermingle or use, and then was there any concern about how these would perform in relation to using the high-speed primes?
There's no question that the 13-leaf iris affects things. So obviously that performance of pulling iris is much better. The focus rotation is bigger, so it's easier for focus pullers, and so that's a nice improvement. The contrast is more consistent throughout everything. It's stunning. I own I own 3 sets of the Cine and a set of the classics, and I used the 105 and the 135 in this movie as well. This was a 20-day shoot, $10 million picture, and I used the lenses with it. And I had the DIT adjust contrast, and then I made notes of when we were doing that, and I will adjust that a bit in the DI to try to make them all match a bit more. But they're very, very close. But the performance is definitely improved.
Thank you. Any other questions? I see a hand up top, and then we have a follow-up, and probably and then I'll start wrapping it with the next 2 questions.
Quick question for Will. Being very familiar with Edward Burns' stuff, I applaud you and also envy you. He's a wonderful director. How did you? I know he's a very walk and talk type of director. So obviously seeing the BTS, how did he take to you speccing this entire camera package and convincing him to shoot something like that?
Well, so it came to be sort of a little bit organically. I mean, Eddie and I have worked together for 22 years, so we have a relationship. And he was very early on. We did a couple of movies on film at the beginning, and then he was early in let's try red, let's try a 5D when we have $5 to make the movie. And he always wants to create, and he always wants to explore. And when we had Millers in Marriage, which was a small film for Paramount that we did, Andrea Leonard, who used to be at Monster Remotes, who's now at Airy, came to visit, and she mentioned the 265 to him. So it sort of came that way, not really even through me. And he said, "What's this 265 thing?" And I said, "Well, all the portraits you have in your house are medium format portraits. They're not 35 millimeter size." So we got into this dialogue. He said, "Let's try it." So that's sort of how it came to be. But we were sort of the first ones in the Northeast really using that 265, and we had these lenses. It was, Kippon hadn't even sent any of the 1.3 adapter out yet. It was very nerve-wracking. So yeah.
Thank you for the question. We have one more question here up front.
Mine's incredibly quick. These all have /I data as well?
Right, yes. What I call it is /I on steroids. You've got /I and extended, Zeiss extended data. So I'll wrap these up with a couple of questions for you, Kazuda-san. How do these lenses reflect your broader vision for the future of Sigma as a leader in cinema optics?
We are very motivated to make cine lenses. So we will continuously develop the new lenses. This Aizu Prime, we regard this lens a kind of new standard set of the lenses for us. But moving forward, we'd like to add some more lenses to satisfy the cinematographers.
Thank you very much. And it does look like our time is up, but there's plenty of event left. I imagine there'll be more questions. So I want to thank you again to our incredible speakers for making time, to all of you for making time to be here to learn about, like I mentioned, the future of Sigma lens optics technology. At this time, we're going to invite you to the next portion of this event, which is going to take place in the 5th floor. It's the tea room, and there we've built in a Zen rock garden. We have 8 cameras set up for you to get to experience the 8 lenses that are available, including the autofocus ZenaZoom. So there'll be an opportunity to experience that up there, ask questions, both Kaname and Will. And I want to thank Will is a busy man. He's going to catch a flight later tonight, get back to New York, and then prep for a shoot for the rest of the week. So we're incredibly thankful for the opportunity that you've given us. And Kaname, you're coming from Paris, so thank you. For doing that. And I also want to mention that we were scheduled to have a third cinematographer up here and wasn't able to make it. And our thoughts are with him and grateful for his work. And at some point, we hope to be able to discuss his work. So upstairs in the tea room, you'll get to experience Aizu primes, cine autofocus zooms. So thank you, everyone, and let's proceed to the rest of this event. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.